Phoenix Rising by Michael Anastas. Alright, question number 1, said Ash. What was that thing? A wraith, said Merlin. Apparently, that's what's been causing the hurricane. That thing? Well, I don't know how it could generate something as big as a hurricane. There might be more than one of them. Well, okay. Question number 2. How did you do that? Do what? That thing where you lit the sword on fire and threw a fireball at him! Oh, that. He drew his sword and held it before him. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'll do my best. He pointed to the stone. It may not look like it, but this is actually made of Pokemon Evolution Gemstone. Evolution Gemstone? What's that? Rejected evolution stones broken down to powder and forged into this glass-like substance. You see, stones don't always come with little identification marks on them like the ones you find in the stores do. First of all, you need to determine exactly what kind of stone it is and what kind of Pokemon it will evolve. Of course, the Phoenix classes will tell you that the stones are a fool's choice, and that the best way to evolve your Pokemon is naturally. Surge lowered his head in shame at hearing that. Of course, while there are many different types, the stones themselves are all found in the same mine, so they're sometimes joined together with others, making them harder to use. Sometimes, in fact, they become so small and so tightly packed together that they are dubbed worthless and sold as artifacts. From there, they are forged into this reddish jewel. It's extremely rare, but since it's supposed to be crap, it doesn't sell for that high of a price. That doesn't really answer his question, said Misty. How did you do that? Wait for it. He waited until everyone was listening. Now, there's a lot of science to this, but I'll do my best. Anyway, we all know that these stones force Pokemon to evolve, right? Well, Sierra Mana adopted a research project to see just exactly how they worked, and what we discovered was that the stones actually inflate the subject's cell structure, especially in such areas as the throat, eyes, and brain, where most elemental attacks are produced. In other words, they inflate the DNA to match the evolved form, and suffice as generators when elemental attacks are performed. So, basically, they're just in to fill the gaps, said Brock. Kind of. There's a lot of physics and biology involved, and I don't understand half of it myself. I still don't understand how you made the fireball, muttered Ash. I'm getting to it! Now, Ash, I'm going to tell you, but first, don't get the idea that you can do the same thing. In order to do what I just did, you need telepathic abilities. You know telepathy? Asked Misty. I have telepathic Pokemon, and if you remembered everything Sabrina told you back when she was alive, telepathic Pokemon can only receive orders from a telepathic trainer. I'm no expert, but I know enough to use the sword. He pointed to the stone again. Now, normally, the stone is used as a generator. In this case, however, it acts as the nexus. The thing about this stone is that, because it's made of every type of stone you can get, it can tell the difference between elements. Therefore, when our canine hit the stone with a fireball, it knew what element was required. Then, using telepathy, I extended the flame from the stone to the blade. Ooh, poetry, said Misty with a smile. And created the fireball. From then on, I could use our canine's flame as a fuel source until I either diffused it or replaced it with another, which could only be done if I let it. He sheathed the sword. There are only 4 swords of this kind, 3 of which are locked away in a museum display due to the fact that they were used by ancient samurai. This one, however, was handmade by a blacksmith in Soul Life City. It was my grandfather's, passed down to my mother, and the only thing left to me in the will. He smiled. I couldn't have asked for more. Ash stared at the sword in awe. Wow. Hey, you want me to teach you telepathy? Ash rubbed his forehead and smiled innocently. Well, yeah, I guess I was about to ask that. Merlin smiled. I'll come around to it. Just don't forget, I'm already telling you everything I know as it is. Yeah, I know. Merlin got to his feet. You'd better. Tommy walked up behind them, followed by the Kangaskhan that had adopted him long ago. I guess you're going now, huh? We have to, said Ash. The world is at stake. Kangaskhan! Tommy turned back to his mother. Really? You do that? Kanga! Tommy turned back to us. We're going with you. Huh? The world is in peril. Do you expect me to just stand around? Ash smiled. You've grown up since I last saw you, but we can't let you get involved." "Why not?" "It's too dangerous," said Merlin. "You saw that thing back there. Do you want to know what it's capable of? No matter what you say, the truth is that you don't." "Think about it," said Misty. "I hate to say this, but we don't have much to lose right now. You have a family." "My family's going with me." "What about your parents?" "You mean my human mother and father? They lasted about a month and then left for civilization once again." Ash was shocked. "Don't be too sorry. They didn't like it, but they stayed until I told them to go. Why should they be miserable just so they can show me they care when I already know that they really do?" He leaned up against his adopted mother, who gently placed her hand against his back. "Well, my real mother's made up her mind. I guess I'm going with you." Merlin and Ash exchanged looks. They both shrugged their shoulders, and Ash took a Pokeball off his belt. "The more the merrier," said Ash. "Can she ride in this, or would you rather—" "Would she fit in that?" "Of course." "Kangaskhan!" "Me neither." Ash shrugged his shoulders. "Tommy," said Merlin, "are you reluctant about your mother going into the Pokeball because you'll miss her?" Tommy folded his hands behind his back. "Kind of. More or less, my mother would miss me." "Well, in theory, it's possible for a human to enter a Pokeball, but I don't really know if that would be any better." All eyes turned on Merlin. "It's possible for a trainer to be kept in a Pokeball?" said Misty. "How?" "It's kind of the same way we got Meowth and Arcanine in the same Pokeball. Arcanine was holding Meowth in his mouth at the time, so—" "Oh, I think I get it." "You're learning." Ash received his first blue-gold Pokeball, as it was the only kind capable of carrying more than one Pokemon. Still, he couldn't help but wonder what exactly was going on with the human inside. "It's kind of disturbing," said Ash. "I just learned how 2 impossible actions can be made possible in less than an hour. What more could happen?" Merlin and Ash exchanged looks, and Merlin forced up a smile. "On second thought, I'm not sure I want to know." "I'll go over everything," said Merlin. "If you'd waited until you'd learned the basics, everything you just saw would have made perfect sense, and it will once you do."